Shocking truth about Meghan Markle's so-called cookie queens is being revealed after a disastrous appearance at the Sundance Film Festival.
I thought she behaved so badly, and Harry too.
She blames the media for having, in his words, murdered her, which is complete nonsense.
Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill. Every single thing he has written about Meghan.
First person to say how limited Prince Harry is, unfortunately, and how his wife trades off her husband's fame and fortune, or not so great fortune now. I mean, this is the problem, but we're still interested because, after all, he's a great character in our modern day.
Meghan was angling for an invite to this funeral. She saw it as an opportunity. She's not wrong there. These big celebrity funerals, they're not like ours. They really are networking moments. I went to Joan Rivers' funeral.
And didn't want to, firstly, be seen with Harry, and secondly, didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen. Yeah. And that's why she turned up. So I think she has a major problem.
I mean, this was a calculated attempt against the families. I mean, the one thing that Samantha Markle always predicted was
King Charles and Prince William are now at war over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Donald Trump rebuke.
So Harry and Meghan want us to discuss the fact that they executive produced Cookie Queens and popped up at the Sundance Film Festival. And I'm happy to oblige, but not in the way they probably hoped.
Apparently Meghan Markle didn't even watch the documentary she produced.
Meghan, because that was the sort of person she was looking for, famous and rich.
I don't think Harry feels any remorse. And I think that is the key thing in all this reconciliation. He still thinks that he's owed an apology from Charles and from William for the way they've treated not only him but also Meghan. And he doesn't want to realize that it's his behavior, his writing for money, being so unbelievably disloyal.
So she invited herself to that. The only place that she has a standing open invite to where she will not appear, a tragedy.
Tom Bower has just revealed a shocker that flips everything we believed about Meghan Markle's newest project. Several insiders at the Sundance Film Festival told him that Meghan Markle never even watched the documentary she has been publicly promoting. And it only gets more embarrassing. Around 150 seats in the theater were completely empty. The Girl Scouts organization is said to be extremely angry. Even worse, the film highlights child exploitation, a message Meghan reportedly failed to notice at all. Drop your thoughts below and subscribe to FameX for real stories others won't tell.
Perhaps. So he's they toddle over to Sundance, where allegedly they have produced, their names are on the stock as a producer, a documentary about Girl Scouts trying to sell their cookies. It's called Cookie Queen. Edge of your seat viewing, okay? Now, there are reports, the Daily Mail has, that the Sundance screening had rows and rows and rows of empty seats, while the Sussex squad, those nebulous 10 fans out there, claim that it was a standing room only, sold out screening, because who doesn't want to watch a bunch of 8-year-olds trying to sling some cookies over at the local Stop and Shop?
What has come out in the past 48 hours is unbelievable, and I'm going to explain every key detail step by step. Stay with FameX as we break it all down. Imagine this scene. Meghan Markle arrived at the Sundance Film Festival acting like an Oscar nominee. Red carpet photos, expensive fashion, and that familiar polished smile. She delivered speeches thanking people for backing a powerful documentary about Girl Scout cookie sales. But people who were actually there say the reality was very different.
And it's no surprise, really, that it seems Meghan has no idea about the truth of the film that she is promoting, given that she decided to buy it without actually having anything to do with its production. But of course, Meghan's behavior towards the children themselves is also being exposed. Look at this from the red carpet, where she really did prove that she don't like these children. She's not at all interested about being around these children. And actually what she likes is the very quick pose for a selfie.
Here is what Tom Bower exposed. When the lights dimmed inside that Sundance theater, and yes, it was a very small venue, not a huge cinema, Nearly 150 seats were empty. Think about that for a moment. 150 empty seats at a festival where tickets are normally impossible to get. Then came another revealing detail. Sundance insiders said staff members were sent inside just to reduce the embarrassment. Even after that awkward effort, there were still about 60 to 70 empty seats when the film officially began.
Film folks who are there working, and they went to this screening, and they said when it started, and it's a small theatre, this is not Radio City, this is a small theatre, when it started there was about 150 empty seats. As the movie progressed, I think ushers or people were pushed in to try and make it look a little less embarrassing, but there still was about 60, 70 seats. What's really unusual is that anyone that's been to Sundance knows that these theatres are packed for the 2 weeks, for the time that the festival is on. It's really hard to get a ticket. So
there are often lines outside of screening rooms, well before.
Anyone familiar with Sundance knows this almost never happens. These theaters are usually full throughout the entire festival. Long lines stretch around buildings. People stand for hours just hoping to get inside. Movies sell out instantly. But Harry and Meghan's documentary didn't, not even remotely. And this is why it matters. The film being shown at Sundance says a lot. If Netflix truly wanted it, it wouldn't be there. Sundance is where creators go when they are searching for a distributor.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Scamelot, they were at the Sundance Film Festival. I mean, what a fall from grace, okay? They're at a film festival doing the red carpet like wannabe influencers and celebrities when they were real royalty, right? People would have been flying to see them. Celebrities who were at Sundance would have been jumping through rings of fire and hoops just to hang out with her if she were still a duchess, right? If she were still a duchess and living over in, London eating crumpets and scones, people would be jumping through hoops to hang out with her. And now she's having to do these desperate PR stunts. So she's invented a new career.
Meghan has been insisting they worked on this project for 2 full years. 2 years. If Netflix had shown any interest at all, and remember the Sussexes claim they have a deal with them, this film would have gone straight to Netflix. But according to Tom Bauer, Netflix reviewed it and passed immediately. That's why appearing at Sundance to shop around a movie about cookie sales, while acting like it's a big Hollywood comeback, feels desperate. Watching it unfold is almost uncomfortable. Tell us what you think in the comments, and subscribe to FameX for the real breakdown.
They're such dopes. They're such dummies. You come to me. Good luck selling that movie, because what real drama requires is some conflict and some tension. And if the only real narrative question in Cookie Queens is, will these girls sell all their cookies so they can have another year with the Girl Scouts? But the answer is, yeah, of course, because their parents have to buy them in bulk. Story's over.
It's over. I've told you the whole movie. I'm sorry, did I give away the plot? Maybe not. That's the whole movie. That's the whole movie. They stretch it into an hour and a half. It's telling that Harry and Meghan did not get up and introduce the movie. Normally the stars, the producers.
Now we reach the part that completely shifts the story. Tom Bauer spoke with several festival attendees who actually watched the screening, and their reaction matched. Many of them believe Meghan and Harry didn't watch the documentary at all. Let that sink in. His sources, people who sat inside that theater, think the couple never saw the film they were promoting. One attendee said plainly, "They just can't help themselves. They always mess it up. This isn't rumor." These are first-hand accounts from viewers who watched the film and then listened to Meghan's speech afterward. The gap was so clear that different people reached the same conclusion on their own.
Meghan Markle, yesterday, we talked about her brand new cookie documentary, Cookie Queens. Ooh, and I said it then. I'm like, is this a good documentary? Like, because the Girl Scouts, as we call here, they're called Girl Guides elsewhere. I just learned kind of the same organization. Kind of a questionable thing. Like, yes, it has its positives. Traditionally, it's more, richer upper class families that partake, and usually more affluent families and kids who succeed at selling the most cookies. This felt a little exploitative, if I'm going to be honest, even just from hearing what it was about, as these like very little kids almost are like, paraded around, clearly with parents behind the scenes. And now reports are coming in that there's a lot more drama than I guess Meghan was aware of.
So what does the documentary really reveal? The actual content is troubling. Parents must buy all the cookies in advance, not after sales happen. Families are paying hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars up front, then hoping they sell enough to earn that money back. The classic door-to-door Girl Scout cookie memory most people have is mostly gone. Instead, wealthy parents buy cookies in bulk and sell them through social media and work contacts. If you have money and connections, your child succeeds. If not, you're out of luck. The film's real message is clear. It shows that rich parents can basically purchase their daughter's success and badges. The Girl Scouts don't focus on cookies reaching customers. They care about how many boxes parents buy. That's the system the film exposes. But it goes further. The documentary shows parents training young girls to be extra charming and to use what one reviewer described as emotional pressure to boost sales. Comment below if this crossed a line.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are shopping their new Cookie Queens, a film The Hollywood Reporter described as saccharine sweet, meaning Netflix has passed on the movie. Despite this, the Sussexes still showed up at the Sundance screening, smiling, clapping and basking in praise. Markle, a former scout herself, revealed her favourite Girl Scout cookie, Thin Mints naturally, and gushed that the film was not just adorable, but one of the most meaningful and powerful depictions of American tradition. But what tradition is she talking about? Selling cookies or getting into debt? Because beneath the bows, badges and big smiles, Cookie Queens tells a far more uncomfortable story, one that some audience members aren't convinced the Sussexes fully grasped. As one Redditor who attended the screening put it, I was at the morning Sundance screening. I'm not sure the Sussexes understand the film. While the girls are adorable and their stories touching, the documentary shows significant exploitation by the Girl Scouts organisation. The commentator went on to note that parents are required to front the money for cookie inventory before a single box is sold. Something sometimes thousands of dollars worth. One family featured in the film reportedly struggled to pay in advance for more than 2,000 boxes of cookies so their daughter could try to win a trip to camp they otherwise couldn't afford. Another girl, this is the so-called Cookie Queen, racked up sales almost entirely online through a website built and managed and promoted by her parents, complete with videos of the child cheerfully pitching cookies. The girls are coached to upsell, to charm, to lean into cuteness because cuteness sells.
The film shows girls being taught to use sympathy, poverty, race, and disability to increase sales. This is not a story about empowerment. It's a story about exploitation, a system favoring wealthy families and children being pushed to perform. Yet Meghan stood at Sundance and called it one of the most powerful and meaningful portrayals of American tradition. But there's more. Tom Bower's reporting uncovered another false claim, and this one is bold. Meghan was never a Girl Scout. She was a brownie. That's the younger group, usually ages 5 to 7, and here's the key detail. Brownies do not sell cookies. That's not part of their program. Still, at Sundance, Meghan spoke about her cookie-selling past. Another lie added to the list. As one observer said, she just can't stop herself. And here's something that's been overlooked amid all the chaos.
All of these elements that are baked in, dare I say, to the tradition of the Girl Scouts cookie season. So Meghan is very much now aware of this criticism and trying to say, oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Okay then. The question from Variety was, with two of the subjects being from California, Meghan, did watching them make you nostalgic? She replies, yes, without question, especially now as a mother of a daughter, there's a very different lens that you're witnessing it through. And of course, being reminiscent of my own experience of having been a Girl Scout in California, I love how varied and diverse the casting is. I love that you see some of these families and what they're sacrificing to give their daughters these opportunities. And on the flip side, some daughters were pushing themselves much more than their parents would ever push them, and how that's ingrained so early on. You see how multidimensional these young girls are, but also the dads. And this is interesting because it's when she speaks about Harry and how she thinks Harry performs as a father.
The Girl Scouts organization is reportedly extremely angry about this documentary. According to insider information shared by Tom Bower, the group feels exposed and completely blindsided by the Royal Style Association. One source said clearly, this was not the endorsement they expected. They wanted no connection to this film, and now they're stuck in a controversy they never agreed to. There's an important detail many people overlooked. At the very start of the documentary, in small print, a disclaimer states the Girl Scouts organization had zero involvement in the project. None at all. They fully distanced themselves. Still, Meghan stood on the Sundance stage speaking as if she were representing them, almost like a Girl Scout spokesperson. The organization feels dragged into unwanted attention and they are not pleased. And here's where things get more revealing. This entire project appears to be about competing with Princess Catherine. Catherine is the patron of the Girl Guides in the UK, which is the British version of the Girl Scouts. Meghan saw Girl Scouts, saw a chance to outdo Catherine, and jumped in without properly understanding what she was supporting. Share your thoughts below and subscribe to FameX for deeper analysis.
That's not a bad thing if it's intentional. This time, it clearly wasn't. Now, here's what's interesting. Like, I'm trying to gather more insight, and I even was like looking up these reviews. It's like, well, what's it actually about? Is it like anti-Girl Scout? Is it actually calling it out? But the little reviews I can find clearly, get into like, there's a couple of little things here I want to bring up. Girls seem to have subconsciously absorbed that guilt-tripping potential customers is part of the game, luring in marks with the pity for the vendors' disadvantages: poverty, not being white, having a disability, and a culture overwhelmingly rigged to favor little girls like white middle-class Olive. And so it goes in and talks about sort of the cuteness of, oh yeah, but then also the real fact here of just like how much these cute kids are to get these cookies. At one point, they even talk about, luckily, Nikki's youth, sunny disposition, and agreeableness as our own superpowers, making her the hook, as the girls describe her, because other people consider her still cute.
This fits into a much bigger pattern. They don't create, they attach themselves. They don't build projects, they buy into them. Rob Shooter confirmed that this film had 24 executive producers. 24. Harry and Meghan were the final two names added, joining in December 2024. By that time, the film was already finished, fully completed. They paid their way onto a finished project, added the Archewell label, and showed up for photo ops. That's the full extent of their involvement, and even that limited role turned toxic. What happened inside the Sundance Theater has been described as painfully awkward. Meghan broke basic film festival etiquette. At Sundance, Cannes, or any serious festival, the director speaks first. Always. But Meghan wanted the spotlight. She was introduced ahead of the director and took the stage, according to witnesses, like she had just won an Oscar, thanking everyone, listing her Archewell team, and continuing far longer than appropriate.
Now, I just found it weird that she's doing a film on Scouts, and then she deflects from the conversation around her own daughter being in Girl Scouts. Like, if it were me, if I'm producing a film on Girl Scouts and they said, would your kid be in Scouts? I'd say, yes, I love the program. But it's also weird to me that they're even doing a film on Girl Scouts. Like, why would you be doing a film on this if you didn't think it was a good enough program for your daughter? But, we had some sleuths go in and look. I don't think the screenings are full. I don't think there's a lot of demand to go see Girl Scouts. I think there are a lot of empty seats. If you notice, Harry and Meghan, they're not posting any pictures of the theaters or the screenings or the showings. And so I don't know if there's a lot of demand for a film about Girl Scouts, to be completely honest. I think some freaks and disgusting guys at home might want to watch it, to be honest, if we're going to go there. I don't know young girls who want to watch a movie or a show about Girl Scouts. They want to go out and play with their friends. And so I don't understand the business model, but I think Harry and Meghan are just poor decision makers in general. And it's just going back to the original conversation.
Sources said her speech was mostly empty buzzwords. She talked about layers, depth, and a modern girlhood experience without saying anything concrete. When asked her favorite cookie, an easy and harmless question, she couldn't answer it. She dodged it with a vague response about everyone having favorites. This is classic Meghan behavior. Everything feels staged. Nothing feels real. She won't even choose a favorite cookie because that would mean taking a clear position. And here's the part that really hurts. The real producers, the filmmakers who spent years creating this documentary, didn't want Harry and Meghan as the public face at Sundance. One source revealed that the Sussex brand has become so toxic, so damaged, that the team realized putting them front and center was a serious mistake. Subscribe to FameX now. The fallout isn't over.
No, nobody wants it. Netflix certainly not. But one of the interesting things is that I'm sure that she didn't have anything to do with it. She didn't write anything. She didn't, do anything to make it work well. And so she didn't know anything. And she said with the film, it's not just adorable, but one of the most powerful and meaningful depiction of an American tradition. Now, that's really nonsense. They're just teenagers, aren't they, trying to sell a few sweets, cakes. But she obviously said that because she didn't know what was going on. So that was her thing, something most powerful and meaningful. It's ridiculous. And she said as well, I think for me, to the viewpoint of a mother, I find it really inspiring. Well, it's not exactly inspiring, isn't it? Is it? It's just girls.
When the Sussexes joined this project 2 years ago, their reputation was already slipping, but no one imagined it would fall this far. The real filmmakers now regret ever bringing Harry and Meghan on board. Their names have become a liability. Instead of adding value or credibility, they now bring drama and disappointment. And here's the most damaging part. For a couple who constantly speak about protecting children, this film quietly reveals child exploitation, and they failed to see it. The documentary highlights possible child labor issues. It shows families being financially pressured. It shows children being trained and pushed to perform while a powerful organization benefits. And Meghan stood on that stage praising it as empowerment. Tom Bower's conclusion is blunt. They simply cannot help themselves. They always mess it up. And this time, the failure is massive. Here's the proof many expected. The documentary still has no distribution deal. Despite Sundance, despite the red carpet, despite Meghan's speech, no buyer is interested. Their names now repel projects, and the timing makes it worse. Netflix has officially canceled with Love Meghan after just 1 season. They didn't quietly move on. They made it public. That matters.
I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem. And I think as of this week, the signal for her great problem is that she turned up at Kevin Costner's party for the emergency workers.
Netflix clearly wanted the public to know they were finished with Meghan Markle. And there's a striking contradiction no one can ignore. Less than a week before Sundance, Harry was in a London courtroom complaining about media intrusion, saying the press ruined his life, begging for privacy and protection. Then he boarded a plane, flew to Sundance, and walked the red carpet seeking cameras and attention. Tom Bower's assessment says it all. You couldn't invent this. The hypocrisy is so open, so clear, that even longtime supporters are struggling to defend it. And here's the final takeaway. This disaster supports Prince William's approach. William believes they should lose their titles and be completely separated from the royal family.
King Charles and Prince William are now at war over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Donald Trump rebuke. Now, to be honest, I'm totally with Prince William on this. I'm sorry, I'm just putting that out there right from the start. What Harry and Meghan did by openly speaking out against Trump was disgusting, was despicable, went against all diplomatic norms, and also is hugely disrespectful for Harry given he is in America. I would argue at the invitation of Trump, who could boot the asshole out because he lied on his immigration forms, I believe, because I do not believe he would have been allowed in if he admitted to all of the illegal drug use in Spain.
Moments like this show exactly why they can't control themselves. They don't research properly. They don't understand the projects they attach their names to. Every effort turns into controversy. Every project ends in failure. As one source explained, everything they touch becomes a problem, and this time it wasn't even planned. Once again, Tom Bower has confirmed what many already believed. Meghan didn't watch the film. The theater was half empty. The Girl Scouts are angry. The documentary exposes child exploitation that she completely overlooked, and no one wants to buy it. And remember, this is only January 2026. If this is how their year begins, where will they be by December? Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what happens next. Drop your thoughts in the comments because something tells me the revelations aren't finished, and 2026 is shaping up to be their worst year yet. Stay locked in with FameX.